Many people were shocked to find out that Roberto De Zerbi had decided to leave Brighton at the end of the 23-24 season. Those same people were then shocked a few days later to find out that he had gone ahead and joined Marseille. Here is how you can successfully set out his tactics in FC24 for the French club. For the most part of Roberto De Zerbi's managerial career, he has always opted for the 4-2-3-1 system and shape. If you have a look at Shakhtar Donetsk, if you have a look at Sassuolo, at Brighton, he always wanted his side to play in this system and shape. And this will be very important in trying to establish the way that De Zerbi wants his side to effectively build out from the back. Having at least 6 to 7 options, passing options in your defensive third, looking to invite the press and the pressure from the opposition, and therefore allowing a bit more space for your forwards to go ahead and try and exploit, essentially. Being able to play out from the back, play through the opposition's press, and effectively create a lot of transition moments for your side. The tactical approach that Roberto De Zerbi will undertake with this Marseille side will be very similar to what he did at Brighton, very similar to what he did at Sassuolo and even at Shakhtar Donetsk. He will look to implement his style of play, and they will only be able to play in that one particular way. Now, essentially, the tactical vision will be set to wing play. You will have a lot of combination between the wider players and looking to try and penetrate from those wide areas of the field. Of course, recently signing Mason Greenwood, who is a very direct attacking wide player. And I do think that there will be 1 or 2 other additions brought into the side that can help successfully implement this Roberto De Zerbi system. So that is why the tactical vision is set to wing play. But let's not forget, you will also be looking to attack in the central zones through the likes of your striker, your attacking midfielder, and even at times your very mobile 2 defensive midfielders. Onto the defensive phases of play, and the defensive style will be set to press after possession loss. Quite often, last season specifically, we saw Brighton pressing and probing and making sure that they were keeping the opposition under consistent stress and pressure. And this would often lead to either a misplaced pass or potentially your defensive structure and your pressing style winning the ball back and leading to a potential transition goal or opportunity. And that is something that you are and you will be looking to implement with your side. Now, the team's width will be set to 30, creating a nice condensed structure in the central areas of the field, making it very difficult for the opposition to try and develop a rhythm in those central zones and forcing them out wide, where your wingers and of course your fullbacks will be looking to engage with the opposition. Now, the depth will be set to 80, helping you implement that high block at times, creating that nice aggressive pressing structure in certain moments and forcing the opposition at times back into their own half. Now, essentially, De Zerbi is quite okay with having the ability to drop his line, implementing a bit of a mid-block, and we will probably see this at times against the better sides, maybe a PSG, for example, or in the Europa League next season. I'm pretty sure they are in the Europa League next season, but maybe against a Manchester United if they had to go up against them. He would look to try and just drop his line a little bit, not aggressively dropping it back and creating that, deep to low block approach, but still maintaining a bit more of a cautious approach to the way that he will look to engage on the defensive end with the opposition. But otherwise, on a normal circumstance situation, I would say set it to 80. Now, the fun really begins with the offensive flow and phases of play with Roberto De Zerbi and his sides of the past. Now, essentially, you want slow build-up to be implemented along with possession, because you will be looking to build out from the back. And quite often with Brighton specifically, we would see Brighton play out from the back, control the ball between either the centre-backs and the full-backs and the 2 defensive midfielders, creating that nice back 6, and look to just rotate the ball between those players and even the goalkeeper at times, inviting the press, inviting the pressure from the opposition, and then effectively being able to play out through that press and that pressure and play into a lot of open space for the attackers to go ahead and try and exploit. So that is something that I would suggest you try and do and continuously do on a consistent basis. The offensive width of the side will be set to 65, still looking to try and keep the shape and the structure of the formation, but kind of trying to stretch the opposition's play, looking to try and generate those gaps in between the lines as well as in between the defenders for your other attackers to go ahead and try and exploit. Of course, you will be looking to work the ball into those wider areas more naturally, having some good combination plays between the fullbacks and of course the wingers. And with your natural game plan looking to try and stretch the play and try and work the ball into those wider areas of the field, whether it's to your fullbacks or your wingers, like I've said before, you will want to try and flood the box with crossing opportunities or cutback situations where you might be able to cut the ball back and your striker or one of your box crashing midfielders will make that aggressive run and attack the potential, opportunity. So that is more or less what you want, and you want at least 3 to 4 players doing that on a consistent basis. And then finally, the corners and the free kicks should be set to 4. Onto the individual player roles and instructions, starting off at the front with the striker in Aubameyang, or it could potentially be somebody else come the start of the season. but more so just in general for a Roberto De Zerbi system and this type of striker that he often wants and requires. These would be the instructions that he would need in order to successfully go ahead and implement his style of play. Now for the striker, you would want him to maintain a balanced width, allowing him to drift into the wider channels, help support in those areas, or potentially stay a bit more central and be a focal point in the attack. Essentially, as well with Roberto De Zerbi, he would want his striker to go ahead and drop off of the opposition's backline, having him drop into the half spaces, play in between the lines a bit, and help facilitate any offensive rotations needed in the midfield areas, or just looking to play those bounce passes into other players. So you do want your striker being very proactive in the build-up play. And of course, when you are looking to invite the press and the pressure from the opposition, inviting them quite deep into your half, you would want and require your striker as well as your attacking midfielder to drop quite deep and collect the ball, or at least try and show for a few passes. The interceptions will be set to normal, and then finally, comeback on defense will be a necessity, and this will help him drop between the lines and more or less try and pair up with the attacking midfielder, kind of generating that front four system if you include the two wider midfielders. Two players to consider for this role could be Eddie Nketiah or Delinga. The attacking midfielder, I have gone for Amin Harit, and I think he would be a fantastic player under Roberto De Zerbi. Now for his role and instructions, again, I'm basing it off of what happened really at Brighton with João Pedro. And essentially, the defensive support will be set to come back on defense. Just like with the striker, you want him to be able to drop quite deep at times, especially if you are going to invite the press from the opposition. You would want a few extra passing options from your striker and, of course, your attacking midfielder. Now, essentially, the support on crosses will be set to get into the box, as you do want him at times overlapping the striker and looking to make those attacking runs into the central areas. The positioning freedom will be set to free roam, and this will help him pick out the half spaces just on the edge of the area, or even looking to attack the areas that the striker is necessarily not. And then finally, the interceptions will be set to aggressive. A player to consider for this role could be Reader. Now onto the flanks for your two wingers, and Mason Greenwood, who has been confirmed by Ornstein as well as Fabrizio Romano. We've gotten the here we goes, which is why I have put him in the team. Of course, no official announcement from either club yet, from Manchester United or Olympique de Marseille, but I do think that it will potentially go ahead and happen. But of course, on the left-hand side, we've got Sarr. Now, essentially, the roles will be slightly different. I kind of see Mason Greenwood facilitating the Mitoma role on the right-hand side, whereas Sarr will kind of play as the Solly March type player. Now, he will be told to come back on defense, and you do want at least one of your wingers dropping back, helping support the defense in certain moments, and that will be the role of Sarr. The chance creation will be set to maintaining a balanced width, allowing him to drift either inside or maintain the natural width down the left-hand channel, but you do want to see some good interchange between the left back and the left winger, and that is why a balanced approach best suits this player. The attacking support runs will be set to maintaining a balanced approach. Now this will help him break in behind, using his pace, looking to try and stretch the play on a vertical scale, but also he can look to drift inside a bit more, come short, link up the play with the other players in and around him, and this can also help lead to a good possession-based style of football that Roberto De Zerbi will want to try and implement into this team. And then finally, the interceptions will be set to normal, and then you want him having a balanced approach for the crossing runs. Now onto the opposite flank of Mason Greenwood. He will be set to maintaining a basic defensive support, so he can choose to come back and help out the likes of Klaus in certain moments, or at times he can also choose to be an outlet ball. Now quite often at Brighton, we saw the wingers wouldn't always track back, specifically Mitoma. He would kind of hang up the field and be a bit more of an outlet ball, and like I say, that is what I kind of see for Mason Greenwood in this system, being a very direct attacking option from that right-hand side. The chance creation will be set to maintain a balanced width as well, but the support runs will be set to get him behind. Specifically with your striker and your attacking midfielder dropping quite deep at times, you will want at least one of these wider players to try and help facilitate with those runs in behind. And that will be the likes of Mason Greenwood in the system. And of course, just like with the other winger, he will be set to normal interceptions, but you want him making those central runs into the box, attacking the central areas. 5 players to consider for the role could be Odebear, Zarauri, Due, Nelson, and Hwang Hee-chan. Onto the base of your midfield, of course, the double pivot of Kondogbia as well as Rongier, and this might change depending on if Roberto De Zerbi sees them as adequate options for his system, but they will have a very important role, especially in the build-up play, looking to drop deep, help support in that, first phase of the build-up, but also contributing higher up the field. They'll have very good box-to-box roles in the system, and they will be very important in the success of the system, looking to contribute on both the offensive and defensive phases of play. Now for Rongier as well as Kondogbia, they will have identical instructions. So as you'll see here, cut pass lanes, you want them to have that nice zonal approach, looking to try and deter the opposition from, establishing an offensive rhythm in the central areas. The attacking support will be set to maintaining a balanced approach, giving them that nice box-to-box role. The interceptions will be set to normal, and then finally being the deep-lying playmaker, showing for the ball, showing for a pass, or just providing a passing option in that first phase will be essential to the success of this, back 6/back 7 build-up play. And then you want them covering the central zones because they have a more natural, wider starting position. You want them to try and hone in into those central areas and try and break up any potential play and screen the backline from the opposition. As you'll see here for Kondogbia, he's got the same role and instructions as well. 4 players to consider for the DM position could be Sosa, Basuma, Caceres, as well as Harmer. The fullbacks will hold a very key role in the build-up play as well as how this team will function on the offensive phases of play. Essentially, you will want them overloading down the wider channels, but at the same time as well, you might want them drifting inside, looking to try and contribute to the midfield build-up play. So you want them getting forward, of course, but the run type will be set to mix. Now, more naturally, because the team's width is set to 65, they will look to play in the wider areas of the field. And at Brighton, we did see that every now and then the likes of Estupinian or one of the fullbacks would drift inside. I actually can't think of the right back names. Veltman, there we go, that's a right back name. You would see them drift inside and, almost play as a secondary or tertiary DM, looking to try and add to that, aggressive builder play, or even looking to fill in for one of the midfielders that might be out of position. Now, it's very hard to go ahead and implement that, and you might see it every now and then. But you do want them having a mixed run type, allowing them to either overlap, underlap, or invert themselves into the midfield. And then, of course, the defensive positioning for both of these positions will be set to stick to position. 2 players to consider for the left back role could be Tsimikas or Reguilon. And then for the right back, he will maintain the same role and instructions as the left, and that will be join attack, maintain a mixed run type, as well as stick to position. 3 players to consider for this role could be Vitinho, Couto, or Emerson Royale. Now, the fundamental pieces in this first phase build-up will be the 2 centre-backs. Now, a new man recently brought in on loan is Brazier as well as Chancel Mbamba. So you do want them to be able to be good on the ball, establishing that first phase build-up play, being able to cope under pressure, passing out of tight situations, as well as having that long ball approach on them, being able to find those longer passes into the forward line, especially if the opposition are pressing hard the field and are pressing in a man-to-man system, not really giving you many passing options. Now, that will be a key feature to the system, being able to play through the press, being able to play through the pressure, but also at times understanding and registering that there's no extra pass. You need to go long with it. And that will be very much up to either the goalkeeper or the 2 centre-backs. But as you'll see here, their instructions are set to default. You don't need to change too much about it. They will look to just try and break up the play, make sure that they're keeping their defensive line intact, and making sure that they aren't exposing the goalkeeper. And speaking of which, the goalkeeper, now essentially for the gameplay graphics that you will be seeing, I used Paul Lopez. Now, I just realized this morning before recording that he's now gone to Como, which is a fantastic move for him. So we've got Blanco in here, but more or less the role and positioning won't change for the goalkeeper. You would want him to be able to come for crosses, be very aggressive and assertive in the air, of course, looking to try and help the 2 centre-backs deal with the aerial threats, whilst also maintaining that sweeper keeper role. Again, it doesn't really matter who the goalkeeper is. We've seen De Zerbi, alternate keepers, and they all will play the same way. You want your goalkeeper sweeping up just in behind your very high aggressive defensive line, whilst also being able to play out from the back, play under pressure, and find those acute passes in certain moments and establish that first phase build-up play. The goalkeeper, along with the centre-backs, will be very key in De Zerbi's system. 3 keepers to consider for this position is Ramsdale, Muric, as well as Restes. And there we go, people. That is how I would implement Roberto De Zerbi's tactics into Olympique de Marseille for FC24. Of course, we will be re-looking at this in a few months' time with FC25 and maybe even 2K25. That would be very interesting to see, to be honest. But yes, we will be doing this again, and after, giving De Zerbi some time in the French league and looking to see how he might adapt his tactics. But for the time being, I would assume that this is how he would more or less look to try and set out his team. Of course, a big thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing. We recently hit 8,000 subscribers. Big love, big support for the channel. Absolutely fantastic. We are on the road to 10,000 though. So if you are new and you like the content and all that good stuff, please don't forget to hit that big red button down below as well as smash the like button on the video too. Of course, only if you like it. If you don't like it, fair play. Don't like the video, dislike it, whatever. It's completely up to you. Anyways, we are going to hop on into the gameplay where we will discuss these tactics in further detail, and you guys can maybe have a closer look at what you might be looking to try and do for yourselves. Okay, people, up against the mighty PSG, looking to display some fantastic Roberto De Zerbi Marseille tactics for you guys to go ahead and have a closer look at the situation and how you should maybe go ahead and set out with the side. Now, again, just looking to invite the press and invite the pressure. Kolo Muani looking to close down space. And of course, we don't have the best goalkeeper overall-wise in Blanco. But to be fair, De Zerbi doesn't care about that. As long as the goalkeeper can, play from the back and play under pressure, he doesn't really mind. Good little bit of movement off the ball there from the wider player in Merlin. Good switch of play into Mason Greenwood. Little click on effort there. Good ball. Great ball, actually. Great ball into the wider area. That was almost a great through ball situation. Good combination play between the striker and the wider man. Now, how will this team set out on the defensive end, looking to drop back into its natural structure and make sure that the opposition can't really establish a good rhythm and flow in the central areas, which is kind of what they did themselves, really. I wasn't pressing there at all. But again, Marseille just looking to invite the press. Invite the pressure. Invite everything. Oh, that was a horrendous pass from Kondogbia, who I do think could be a fantastic player for the side. And I was toying with the idea. I don't know. Roberto De Zerbi, he's a madman. Kondogbia is left-footed. Now, I know Brazier is also left-footed. But maybe Kondogbia, slots in as a centre-back, a ball-playing centre-back, because we saw at Brighton, Lewis Dunk was heavily relied on for those deeper ball-playing positions, and was a key, figure in the Brighton side. Of course, he was the captain, and he featured quite heavily. Good ball, chip, bang! Oh my God, ref, he's fouled my player. You love to see it. Anyways, back to Lewis Dunk, and of course, Chancellor Mbemba could be a great ball-playing centre-back. I'm not exactly too clued up with how he specifically likes to play and what his, touches are all about. I don't watch Marseille on a regular basis. But maybe bringing in a defensive midfielder to play as a centre-back could be an ideal way to kind of implement that, playing ability, in that backline area. And Kondogbia is quite tall. I think he's 6'3", very good in the air, very good under pressure. So maybe he could be an option, especially if you are trying things out in your career modes. Maybe converting Kondogbia, I think it only takes around 2 weeks to do it, into a centre-back, that could be an option. But right here, right now, thanks to a penalty, I mean, it should have been a goal first time. Harit should have put it in the goddamn back of the net. Anyways, we're up. We're 1-0 up. And Marseille have been very much in control of PSG. No Mbappe, no win. That's how I see it. Nuno Mendes, what can he do? Taking on the likes of Mason Greenwood and now Klaus. Is it Jonathan Klaus? I'm pretty sure it is. Chancellor Mbemba steps up nicely, gets in the way. And now we can look to break on the opposition, who are left light at the back with minimal defensive options here. There we go. Into the striker. Puts it! Oh my God. Oh my goodness, man. We've given a great, brilliant through ball there with Aubameyang. Lovely. Great recovery defense from Brazier. Well friggin' done. Rongier plays it further forward now. Plays it into the striker, who has dropped quite deep there. Harit plays a lovely ball into the marauding fullback. Good touch. Oh my God, Aubameyang. You know what? Aubameyang might be, replaced. Because I do think an Eddie Nketiah, replacing an Arsenal legend with another Arsenal prospect, I suppose. Or maybe even a Hwang Hee-chan could come in and play in this position quite nicely. I know that they are linked with Hwang Hee-chan. That's why I put him down on the list for you guys to go ahead and try and sign. But yeah, a lot of movement. That's what you need and want and require. A lot of quick first touches and abilities to play out from the tough situations in that final third. That's not a foul. And again, I didn't just hoof the ball up the field. I looked to compose myself, find a better passing option, and then play it. And that is exactly what De Zerbi would want from his team. Playing under pressure. Look at this. This is inviting some immense pressure from the PSG front line, which we have kind of flopped here. Brazier does a great job imposing himself on the opposition. Oh my God, Blanco, you absolute king. Throws it out wide into Sarr, who plays it back in. And again, we're just toying with this PSG team. Little ball into the space. Look how deep the strikers drop there. You love to see it. Doing exactly what you would see in a normal Brighton side. Into the right winger. He's looking to combine yet. Oh, I was going to combine very nicely with the right back. And I do suspect that we will have quite a lot of possession just from that first half. Looking to draw them in and then play through them. It's a pity that we haven't scored a goal from open play. And that will be something that we will focus on in the second half. But so far, I do like how the tactics have displayed. Okay, so as you'll see here at the break, 67% possession to their 33. Of course, PSG under Luis Enrique are a possession-based side, and they will also look to aggressively press higher up the field, which is exactly what we want them to do. And essentially, De Zerbi's side, or De Zerbi's sides of the past, will do things that you're not supposed to. Put your studs on the ball. Have a look up. Find extra passes. Invite the press. Play in the box. Play those square passes across the face of goal. Things that you're not supposed to do, but his sides tend to do it. They invite these, pressing triggers, which is quite cool. Anyways, 2.3 expected goals to their 0.2, and you've only scored 1 goal, so we need to make a better effort from that. 7 tackles to their 6, 4 tackles, 1, not too bad. And then the passes, where we have maintained a 95% pass accuracy, we've had 57 passes. Now onto the possession, and as you'll see there, a lot of the possession has been in our own half, which is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to play with the ball in the midfield areas and then back to the goalkeeper, out wide to the wider centre backs and even into the fullback regions, and just invite that press and that pressure. And then when we have gotten forward, we've been attacking only down the right hand side if we go by this graphic. I'm pretty sure the left winger has had a touch or two, but nonetheless, we have been looking to launch a lot of our attacks through the likes of Mason Greenwood down that wide right space. Whereas a lot of their position has been maintained in the central areas and then looking to progress it further forward. Kolo Muani has been very involved up front, looking to press and try and win the ball back, but we've been smarter and we've been able to play around him and through him. But a lot of their attacks have stemmed down the left-hand side, so something that we will need to watch out for. But otherwise, very happy with how things have proceeded in the gameplay. Okay, PSG are prepared to kick things off. They will be looking to re-establish a footing in this game, if they can. There's no Mbappe, let's not forget. No Kylian Mbappe equals no win. And Barcola apparently is injured. Shame. Anyways, it's the French rivalry to rival all rivalries. One that PSG have been winning of late. Looking to stretch the player, Barcola. He's put a great ball in, but it's cleared off the line. It was cleared off the line superbly. Wow, that could be a red card, That's a red card, he's gone. Okay, we are going to have a lot more of an easier time now because Vitinha diving in for a crazy tackle. We were going for that little bounce pass movements where Harit would bounce it off and then laid off into Sarr, who is making a great marauding run. And they have gone and taken off one of their most attacking players and brought on, I think, Ugarte, who should be joining Man United fairly soon. Hopefully. Hopefully. Now things get even easier for us because now their pressing up front won't actually be there, which kind of, in the past, has deterred De Zerbi's sides from actually going on and winning games. Anyways, Sarr played a great ball into him. Up against the PSG captain in Marquinhos. Is it Marquinhos? And Harit almost gets around the defender there, but the defense did quite well from PSG. I can't believe that's Vitinha just dived in for a tackle there. That's kind of mad. The aggressive press got to him. It went straight to his head. Blood rush. And they're looking to attack down the space. Can't do it. Plays it into the DMs, who will now look to motor. Because, look at this. A lot of space down this wide right. Oh my god. Why didn't he lay that off nicely? Why did he not lay that off nicely? Okay, Harit looking just to press and probe, along with Greenwood and the boys in the middle areas of the field. Good coverage, good coverage. Playing under stress here, but we've played through their press quite nicely and quite effectively, might I say. Harit moving inside. Oh my god. Harit carrying the ball. Horrendous in this game. Normally he's really good, and he's one of my favorite players, or he was at least one of my favorite players, especially with him being at Schalke many FIFAs ago. He was at Schalke, and then he moved to Olympique de Marseille. Was it like a 2-year loan, and then like it's only recently been made official? Oh my god, they've won the ball back, and that has put us under a bit of pressure here, and the goalkeeper has had to make a great save. Oh, not even having to make a save, the man just kicked it out of play. Lovely. Inviting the press. Good ball. Into Kondogbia. Into the striker. Lays it off nicely into Harit. Back into the DM. Into Harit. Harit lays it off into Mason Greenwood. And that's cleared off the line. Now we've got 2 goal line clearances in this game alone. We've got 2 goal line clearances in this game. Madness. Absolute madness. Dembele looking to motor. Puts in a great cross. Just wasn't meant to be, because you know why? Klaus was covering beautifully. And we've lost the ball there. The DM has lost the ball. You will have your heart in your mouth in a few brief moments with this play style, because it is risky. You are playing out from the back. And at times you might not be able to cope, like me. But it is very effective when you do get things right, when you do have those rotations working in overtime. But of course, a team as aggressive as PSG are when out of possession, it might be a bit hard at times. So that's why I say the recruitments needs to be spot on with Marseille and how they approach Roberto De Zerbi's system. Good ball. Great ball. We've won it back right by our own box, and we've been able to transition up the field here into Kondogbia. There we go. The overlapping run from Klaus. Come on. Oh my god, almost. I don't want to just win from a penalty. That's a bit useless, because honestly, this system and this style of play is quite nice to go ahead and use. And you will be scoring quite a few goals. Unfortunately, my goal came from a rebound effort that was then fouled and led to a penalty. But nonetheless, we ended up winning. I'll take that. We also had a goal line clearance on both, for both teams. So that's not too bad either. So we will have a look at the full-time stats and how the team fared. So at full-time, we did have a little bit less possession in that second half, which did lead to our possession stats going down to 56%. So, theirs went up 11%, ours went down 11%. It's not too bad, it's not too shabby. 2.7 expected goals to their 0.7. Of course, that goal line clearance did very much increase their goal expected goals. But otherwise, like if you have a look at the stats as a whole, they're quite good. Almost 100 passes compared to their 65. We did have a lot of possession in our own half, looking to invite the press from them. I keep mentioning that. That is probably one of the things I've mentioned the most in this video. So if you are going crazy, I do apologize. But that is something that Roberto De Zerbi does want and require for his system to go ahead and be successful. You need to invite that pressure. You need to invite those players towards your own goal, which can lead to a few moments of madness where, like you saw in this gameplay, I gave the ball away twice. Really close to my goal, and it almost led to a potential goal or two for PSG, which isn't great. Other times, it can look very nice. So it's a give and take situation, and to be fair, even in real life with Brighton, we did see a few times, a few mistakes at the back that led to a few goals being conceded. And that is something that you will have to live with if you are looking to implement this very easy on the eye style of play into your games. So, like I say, give and take situation. Anyways, mad love for everyone who has supported the channel, subscribed to the channel, 8,000 subscribers. That is mind-boggling, but we are on the road to 10. And when we get there, it's party time. So, until the next time, until the next one, mad love, mad appreciation. Have a damn great day. I'm out.